Hey guys, this is the Elite, and this is a video on my current build, a Fizz one-handed static striker. Just wanted to try it out because I'd tried elemental static strike, it was solid. I'd seen two-handed static strike builds, and I figured why not just try a one-handed static striker. I was pretty sure that the numbers would work out and the build would be pretty damn powerful, and it is. Currently level 78 with 5,800 life and 17,500 DPS. And yeah, mind you, my gear is pretty decent, but yeah. Running on a 5 link, no blood magic because I got mono leech on my gloves. But an interesting thing about this build is that it is mostly elemental. It's based off of physical, but you get so much elemental damage from your auras and from the conversion that you're actually doing more elemental damage than physical. You just have a physical portion so that you can life leech and mono leech. I don't have a lot of block. I have very few block passes. I actually only have 38% block with a 23 block shield, so I only have 15% block on the tree. Might run Tempest Shield at some point if I get a higher mana pool, but right now the leeching is a little bit of a problem. I don't have a high enough mana pool to, or either that or I don't have enough leech to keep my mana fully sustained at all times. But as for the tree, I have something like 180% life right now. I ended up going into the Templar. I don't actually have a lot of damage nodes. That's what I'm currently specking into. Working on getting Strong Arm and Blade of Cunning, and then after that probably working on a couple more life nodes. This part probably looks really weird to a lot of people. I needed Dex early on, and it wasn't that bad of a path to get thick skin. But yeah, you can still get a lot of life without getting the life wheel, and this build kind of proves that. Ended up getting this for the Chaos Res, because Chaos damage is pretty huge in this league. But yeah, not going to talk too much about the build, just want to show some gameplay of it. This build's obviously still in leveling. 78's pretty low level, but the build's solid. I am using reaction skills as well. I'm using Reckoning and Vengeance with life gain on hit and Endurance Charge on melee stun, which is surprisingly effective so far. I don't know how it's going to hold up in the higher maps, but hopefully it's decent. So my current links on Static Strike are weapon elemental damage, melee physical damage, faster attacks, and multi-strike. I was actually using a 4-link with blood magic when I didn't have mono leech, and the damage was still pretty good. But I have all of my other skills pretty much blood magic just because I don't want to waste the mana. As you can see, I still have some mana problems here and there. Probably going to change up my flask soon as well. I'm running a granite with curse removal, an amethyst with curse removal, and a sapphire with removes freezing. I don't think I need the sapphire too much anymore. I was mostly running that for Frozen Sky, the amethyst for Bond of Chaos, which hasn't been too much of an issue since I have negative 13 Chaos Res, which is great. Otherworldly is still a problem. But yeah. Oh, we got a Baxith spawn. This hopefully is something I can do. Yeah, this is something I can do. Nothing too bad at this stage. 5,800 life and 67 maps is pretty huge. I only have 2,800 armor with no granite up, but and the evasion isn't too good either. But the block, 38 block, is actually not too bad. I'm not entirely sure how worth it is to spec into block yet. May experiment with that later. But I'm probably going to keep it if I end up going Bringer of Rain with this build. Not entirely sure yet. I'm currently sword base. I would probably prefer going into axes, just because I feel like there's a lot more damage in axes, and the stat requirements aren't as bad. You don't need as much dex as an axe build, and I really like the axe nodes right now. Another thing that I got fairly early on, and it's one of the reasons why I love having at least a small amount of block, is Testudo, which is helping a little bit with the mana costs, although most of this map is casters, so I can't really block anything. But yeah. And as you can see, I'm actually getting a bunch of endurance charges, even if I'm not casting Enduring Cry like I did right there, just because the reaction skill has stun on it, or the endurance charge on melee stun. So it's basically free endurance charges sometimes. So far, though, this build has been absolutely great. Obviously, 17.5k DPS at 78 is pretty huge. And my sword isn't the most amazing thing in the world. It's not. It doesn't even break 300 DPS yet. It's only about a 270-ish DPS sword. But I have physical on all my rings. I have a pretty beast belt with weapon elemental and physical. I actually have 517 strength right now, which is pretty hilarious. Elemental reflect isn't an issue yet. Maybe an issue later. It's a little bit of an issue in big packs, but it's not. It doesn't kill me. I can pretty much just flask and out heal it. That is a scary pack. So I'm gonna Immortal Call for a little bit while their aura goes down.
My spirit is spent.
Probably the worst of the Beyond mobs, honestly.
I believe in
Or Beyond mods so far for me. Other than Heralds of the Obelisk. Heralds of the Obelisk is pretty scary as well. But what Otherworldly does, it gives it added chaos damage while the aura is active, and then it doesn't take any damage, or it does take damage, but it takes very little while their purple aura is active, which means it's a problem for leeching, and it's more damage taken. Volatile Ice Blood. Just use Flask for that. Just because I have it. But yeah, pretty good build so far. I'm not entirely sure how much, what other things I'm gonna get on this build later on. I'll do that later after the video. But, so far, fairly simple. I'll show the gear over again after this. I also use Elemental Weakness, since obviously I'm doing more Elemental than Physical. Other Curse might be good right now because my damage is a little bit overkill for these maps. Total currency spent on this character, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but probably 3 to 4x so far. Some of the deals I got were pretty good. I think this belt was really good, but I also know the person that was selling it, so I got a deal on that. Some of the other items were really cheap as well. Gloves, double res, mono leech, life. These types of gloves aren't too expensive. I think I spent like 5 chaos on these. The boots, I spent like 2 chaos, and then I added the move speed. Ring, this was a few chaos. This ring was an exalt. This ring's amazing. Definitely worth an exalt. The shield was a couple chaos. Chest was a few chaos, and then I think it was like 6 chaos, and I spent 1 chaos on it and got that roll. Added the life. This was 10 chaos, and this I think I got for pretty cheap. The weapon was also 1.5x. You can probably find something a little bit better for 1x right now. And the belt, I got it for like 8 chaos, and I helped my friend progress a little bit. Pretty amazing belt, though. But yeah. Current auras, I'm leveling a Purity of Elements just in case I go Bringer of Rain, or I get a Bringer of Rain. This will help me a lot with my elemental resistances, though right now they're not an issue at all. I'm super overcapped on a lot of them. Hatred and Herald of Ash are pretty much all I'm running right now. I may get Tempest Shield if I can sustain my mana. I'm probably going to add mana to my amulet at some point soon. Shield, I've got an Elemental Weakness. Can't level it any further than 9 right now, and I've got an Enduring Cry that I'm self-casting. Already explained these links. Poacher's Mark, just leveling it, just in case I decide to use it. Val Haste, Immortal Call. I don't really use Val Haste except in parties where I have Clarity, because Clarity obviously helps me sustain my mana costs, and both those link to increased duration. Immortal Call is used every so often when I feel like I really want to be safe against the physical damage, like in that Otherworldly pack earlier. And in my gloves, I just have Faster Attacks, Blood Magic, and Leaf Slam. Anyways, yeah, that's it for now. I'll probably make more videos on this later as it progresses on to higher levels and better gear, possibly. Though I don't see myself upgrading a lot of this gear anytime soon, other than maybe putting attack speed on the gloves. But yeah. Anyways, this is the Elite signing off. Peace out.